Breaking news from Madison, Wisconsin, which of course has been the center of American news for the past 3 weeks at least. Tonight, the Republicans in Wisconsin State Senate appear to have invented a new nuclear option for passing legislation with no notice and no quorum and no debate. They invented that new nuclear option today, and then they detonated it today. After Republican Governor Scott Walker admitted yesterday that he would negotiate with Democrats on his union stripping bill, after a Republican source tells NBC News that the governor said to Republicans in the legislature today that he was willing to compromise on union stripping, after public support for the governor and the union stripping measure started low and then cratered from there, after weeks and weeks of large demonstrations in Wisconsin against the governor and the Republican plan, including some very, very large demonstrations, and the Republican response to that of locking down the state capitol. After all of that, Republicans in Wisconsin State Senate tonight tried to pull a rabbit out of a hat. Tonight, with no warning, Republicans announced that they took everything budget-related out of what they were calling the budget bill, leaving only the union stripping provisions. Republicans, of course, had insisted that union stripping was a fiscal issue, but tonight, in order to try to pull this rabbit out of a hat, they decided it wasn't a fiscal issue anymore and that therefore they no longer needed that pesky quorum, and with no warning, they convened a conference committee, Democrats say in violation of the state's open meeting law. The last-minute conference committee passed the union stripping bill. The Democratic Assembly leader is shouting that the meeting that he is in is illegal, is a violation of the state's open meeting law. He's saying that as they decide that they're just going to call the roll over him. And he's saying, this is illegal, this is illegal, this is illegal. And they're saying, aye, we're adjourned. Democratic leadership in the legislature says the Republicans' actions tonight were as illegal as they were surprising. That the Republicans never used this option for getting their way before because this option does not legally exist. That protesters in Wisconsin were reconvening at the state capitol. We have just gotten in some footage of what is happening at the state capitol in Madison right now. Let's roll what we have.
This is our house! It's a This is our house! This is our house! Guys, no! We have a right! This is our
I just want to say anybody who lives within driving distance of Madison, Wisconsin right now should make their way to the Capitol. I would love to see thousands of people there right now. They're in that Capitol building, in that rotunda, out on the lawn, whatever it takes. I mean, really, this is war. This is a class war that's been leveled against the working people of this country. And at some point, people are going to just have to stand up and say, nonviolently, this is enough. We're not taking it anymore.